Imagine two simple everyday vitamins, ones you probably take without a second thought, quietly sabotaging your health. Imagine slowly losing muscle mass without even realizing it, feeling weaker each month and chalking it up to just getting older. What if I told you that doctors are now warning about a shocking combination that millions of seniors are unknowingly taking every single day? What if I told you that by the time you feel the effects, the damage could already be significant? Stay with me, because today we're diving into something that could truly change the way you look at your supplements, and maybe even save your strength, your independence, and your vitality. And hey, if you're serious about protecting your health, click that subscribe button right now so you never miss out on crucial health discoveries like this one. All right, let's get into it. You know, most people believe that vitamins are always safe, that if something is natural, it can only help you. But that's not the whole story. Some vitamin interactions aren't just useless. They're actively harmful. They can speed up muscle wasting, trigger dangerous imbalances, and silently chip away at your body's foundation without any obvious warning signs, until it's too late. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age so much faster than others? Why they lose strength, mobility, and even their zest for life in what feels like the blink of an eye? Could a simple vitamin mistake be part of the reason? Scientists now believe so. And today, we're going to expose the two vitamins that, when taken together improperly, could be stealing your muscle mass and putting your health at serious risk. But don't worry, I'm also going to show you exactly how to protect yourself with proven, simple adjustments you can make starting today. First, let's set the stage. Muscle loss, or sarcopenia, isn't just about looking frail. It's about losing the very thing that keeps you alive and thriving. Muscles protect your bones, stabilize your joints, and keep your metabolism humming. When you lose muscle, you're not just losing strength, you're losing protection against falls, fractures, diabetes, heart disease, even cognitive decline. Muscle is like your internal armor, and when it weakens, everything else starts to crumble. So why does muscle loss happen so aggressively in some seniors, even those who seem to be doing everything right? The answer isn't always exercise. It isn't always diet. Sometimes it's what you're supplementing, or more specifically, how two common supplements can clash inside your body, creating a hidden war that tears down your muscles from the inside out. Now, let's talk about the two vitamins at the heart of this problem. Vitamin D and calcium. Both are absolutely essential. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. Calcium strengthens bones. Together, they seem like the perfect duo, right? That's what we've been told for decades. But here's the catch. When you don't balance them correctly, when you don't pay attention to how much you're taking or when you're taking them, they can backfire spectacularly. Vitamin D, for instance, increases calcium absorption from your gut. That's its job. But if you flood your system with calcium without properly balancing magnesium and vitamin K2, two nutrients almost never discussed when doctors hand you a calcium supplement, you end up with excess calcium floating around in your bloodstream. And where does it go? Not just into your bones like you might hope. Some of it seeps into your soft tissues, your arteries, your joints, and yes, your muscles. Calcium deposits where it doesn't belong can create stiffness, inflammation, and eventually contribute to muscle atrophy. In fact, several studies have shown that unregulated calcium levels are linked to faster muscle loss and decreased mobility in older adults. So imagine thinking you're helping your bones, but you're actually setting yourself up for weaker muscles, greater fall risk, and a steeper decline. Are you starting to see the problem? Now you might be wondering, why is this happening so much more now? Why are doctors raising the alarm at this moment in time? Part of it is the massive surge in vitamin supplementation over the last 2 decades. It's easier than ever to pick up high-dose vitamin D and calcium supplements at any grocery store without any professional guidance. Most people assume more is better, especially for bone health. But what's missing from that conversation is the essential role of balance. Your body isn't just a vault where you store nutrients. It's a finely tuned system that depends on critical ratios. Too much of one thing, even something healthy, can throw off your internal equilibrium and trigger unintended consequences. This brings us to something fascinating and terrifying called functional calcium deficiency. Even when your blood tests show normal or even high calcium levels, your muscles and cells might be starving for it. Why? Because the calcium is locked away where it shouldn't be, deposited in arteries and tissues instead of circulating where it's needed. And one of the earliest signs of this hidden imbalance? Progressive muscle weakness, fatigue that exercise doesn't fix, slower walking speed, even slight tremors. Little things that are easy to dismiss at first, but devastating if ignored. Now, I know what you're thinking. If vitamin D and calcium are risky together, should I just stop taking them? Not so fast. Remember, these vitamins are essential for health, but the key is balance, timing, and synergy with other nutrients. Magnesium, for instance, acts as a natural regulator. It helps keep calcium where it belongs and prevents dangerous calcifications. Vitamin K2 is another unsung hero. It activates proteins that shuttle calcium into your bones and teeth, not your arteries or muscles. Without enough K2, you could be creating perfect conditions for calcium to do the wrong thing, even if your intentions are good. Unfortunately, most people are magnesium and K2 deficient, especially seniors. Modern diets simply don't provide enough, and common medications can further deplete your levels without you even realizing it. That's why blindly adding vitamin D and calcium without considering the bigger picture is like trying to fix a leaky boat by just pouring in more water. It makes things worse, not better. Let me ask you something important. When was the last time your doctor or pharmacist asked you about your magnesium or K2 levels before suggesting a calcium supplement? Probably never, right? That's not because they don't care. It's because the medical system often focuses on isolated problems, like brittle bones, instead of seeing how interconnected everything truly is. But you're here now, and knowledge is power. In just a second, I'm going to break down exactly how you can supplement smartly, how to protect your muscles starting today, and how a few simple tweaks can mean the difference between a strong, active future or a slow, painful decline. But first, do you see how critical it is to think differently about your health? If you're starting to realize that your daily habits, even the ones you thought were healthy, might actually need a second look, you're not alone. And that realization is the first step toward real, lasting vitality. Now let's dive deeper into what you can do to fix this. It's simpler than you might think, but you have to be willing to shift your approach. No more assuming that popping random supplements is enough. No more thinking that if a little is good, a lot must be better. It's time to get strategic. Are you ready to protect your muscles, preserve your independence, and feel the kind of energy and strength you deserve? Not just now, but for decades to come? If you're nodding along, keep listening, because the next few minutes could change your life. All right, let's keep this momentum going. So, we know now that the combination of vitamin D and calcium, when taken without the right balance of magnesium and vitamin K2, can cause serious muscle deterioration over time. But let's dig even deeper, because once you really understand how this happens inside your body, you'll never look at supplements the same way again. When you take vitamin D, your intestines start pulling more calcium from the food you eat, and from supplements into your bloodstream. That's good, in theory, because you need calcium for strong bones and proper muscle function. But if your magnesium is low, your body struggles to direct that calcium properly. Instead of being integrated into bone, the calcium floats around, looking for somewhere to land. And without enough vitamin K2, it often deposits in the worst places. Your arteries, your kidneys, even your muscle fibers. Tiny, hard deposits start forming inside your soft tissues. At first, you won't notice a thing. No pain, no warning. But over time, these microscopic calcifications stiffen your tissues. Your muscles lose their elasticity. Your cells start to function less efficiently. And here's the worst part. The very muscles you depend on most, your core muscles, your thighs, your hips, are usually the first to weaken. These muscles are essential for balance, walking, even simply getting out of a chair. Once they weaken, everything else in your body has to work harder to compensate. Your joints take on more strain. Your cardiovascular system works over time. Your risk of falling and of suffering a life-altering fracture skyrockets. And sadly, too many people don't realize what's happening until one day they fall. One broken hip, one hospitalization, and suddenly, life changes forever. But it doesn't have to be that way. Now that you know the truth, you have the power to protect yourself, starting today. First, if you're currently taking a vitamin D supplement, especially if it's a high dose, you need to make sure you're also getting enough magnesium and vitamin K2. According to studies, magnesium deficiency is widespread among older adults, affecting up to 70% of seniors. Yet magnesium is critical for over 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including the regulation of calcium. Think of magnesium like a traffic cop, directing calcium where to go and keeping it out of trouble. Without enough magnesium, calcium gets reckless, causing deposits, inflammation, and muscle loss. Vitamin K2 is your next line of defense. It's responsible for activating specific proteins, like osteocalcin and matrix Glay protein, that physically guide calcium into your bones and teeth, and away from your arteries and muscles. Without K2, your body doesn't have the map it needs to place calcium where it belongs. And here's where it gets even more interesting. In studies, people who had higher intake of vitamin K2 had significantly lower rates of arterial calcification, cardiovascular disease, and even mortality. In other words, K2 isn't just a nice bonus. It's essential. So what can you do right now? First, check the back of your supplement bottles. Is your vitamin D paired with magnesium and K2? If not, you're missing critical pieces of the puzzle. You should also be mindful of your total calcium intake. Many seniors are still advised to take massive amounts of calcium, sometimes 1,000 to 1,200 milliliters per day. But recent research has shown that excessive calcium supplementation, without balancing nutrients, is linked to a higher risk of heart attack and stroke. Instead of relying heavily on calcium pills, focus on getting calcium naturally through food, where it's balanced with other nutrients. Leafy greens like kale and spinach, almonds, sardines with bones, and dairy products like yogurt and cheese, if you tolerate them well, are excellent sources. And always remember, it's not just about the calcium you consume, it's about how your body uses that calcium. Now, a quick question for you. When you think about your health 5 or 10 years from now, do you picture yourself active, strong, and independent? Or struggling with walkers, canes, or assisted living? Every choice you make today either brings you closer to strength or speeds you toward weakness. The good news? You are in control. So what about the right doses? Generally speaking, and of course, you should always talk to your healthcare provider, many experts recommend around 200–400 milliliters of magnesium per day, depending on your individual needs and diet. For vitamin K2, around 100–200 micrograms daily appears beneficial based on current research. And for vitamin D, most adults do well with 2,000 IU per day, although this can vary depending on your blood levels, sun exposure, and other factors. But again, it's the combination that matters most. Another critical point: magnesium supplements come in different forms. Some are better absorbed than others. Magnesium glycinate, for instance, is gentle on the stomach and very bioavailable. Magnesium oxide, by contrast, is poorly absorbed and can cause digestive upset. And when it comes to vitamin K2, you want the form known as MK7, which has a longer half-life in the body compared to MK4, making it more effective for maintaining consistent blood levels. Now let me ask you another question. Did you know that statins, the common cholesterol-lowering drugs, can deplete your body's levels of vitamin K2? Millions of seniors are prescribed statins every year without being told about this side effect. If you're taking a statin and also supplementing calcium without balancing K2, the risk of calcification and muscle loss could be even higher. This is why a holistic approach matters so much more than piecemeal advice. You deserve the full picture, not just fragments. Another huge factor to consider is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation accelerates muscle loss and calcium misplacement. Processed foods, excess sugar, and hidden food intolerances all fuel inflammation silently over time. That's why a real food diet rich in vegetables, healthy fats, quality proteins, and anti-inflammatory nutrients can make such a massive difference in preserving muscle and strength. Think of it like building a house. You need the right materials, the vitamins and minerals, but you also need the right environment. Low inflammation, so that construction can actually happen properly. Every healthy meal you eat, every time you prioritize your sleep, every walk you take outdoors, you're either reinforcing your body's resilience or allowing it to crumble. Every little choice matters. Now maybe you're thinking, but it's too late for me. I'm already losing muscle. No, it's not too late. The human body is incredible. Even seniors in their 80s and beyond have been shown in studies to rebuild muscle mass and strength with the right combination of nutrition, supplementation, and physical activity. Your body is always listening, always adapting, always trying to heal if you give it the right tools. This is why strength training, even with very light weights or resistance bands, can be a game changer at any age. Muscle is not just a young person's game, it's your secret weapon for longevity. And guess what? If you correct the hidden vitamin imbalance we talked about today, balancing vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and K2, you're going to dramatically increase the results you get from exercise too, because your muscles will actually have the materials and internal environment they need to grow stronger. You're not just surviving, you're building, thriving, protecting your future. Imagine feeling stronger 6 months from now than you do today. Imagine walking upstairs with ease, standing taller, moving faster. Imagine feeling the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're doing everything you can to stay independent and vibrant for as long as possible. It all starts now, and it all starts with understanding these critical invisible forces shaping your health. You have the knowledge, you have the tools. The only question left is, are you ready to take action? And if you found this eye-opening, don't stop here. Tap the next video on your screen where we reveal even more hidden vitamin traps that millions of people fall into every day without realizing it. Stay curious, stay powerful, and I'll see you there.